But in the
All right.
meantime,
We got a game. We got a game. The finals of the Warchief Club coming in. Your guy Anotand again in the blue. La blue in the northeastern side, Beal side of the pit, with the Byzantines dropping that cistern right on the gold wood in the back. Pretty good spot for that overall. And down on the opposite side of the pit, across from the pit of despair, we have Scatterbrained in yellow as the English.
yeah, both players doing pretty standard things here, not mixing it up out of the gate.
I'd like to gripe about the pit, and it's not
All
the
right.
normal gripe you're going to hear. I hate how it's always southeast to northwest. I'd love to see a pit oriented northwest to southeast instead.
Let's spin
Wouldn't
that
that make
pit.
it feel fresh? Yeah,
Yeah.
spin it. Let's spin the pit, guys. Come on. Wouldn't that make it feel way more fresh for a game? You can't tell me it wouldn't feel different that way.
You know, I'd add the pit back into my map selection. If I could play from the separate orientation. Just rotate the kit, yeah.
you cheeky ass. That just feels wrong. The isometric look, like it works. It just feels wrong.
Slow rotating where from at. Come on. Let's
It just
go.
feels
There we go.
weird. I just use the brackets to rotate that nice 90 degrees every time. But yeah, it'd be a fun challenge actually. Play a game, like try to get to like a high level playing, like always rotating your camera like 180 degrees. Have you ever looked at the
I feel
back
like
of
I
the mining
remembered
camp?
Sir Neville's once said that he always orients the map so like he's at the bottom and goes up towards the top.
The dude's crazy.
All right, we'll see how long I can stand this perspective before I
mean, everything looks so like,
lose
look at a
my
mining
mind.
camp, for instance. It just looks so wrong from that angle.
It's just off.
It's just off.
Bizarre
Yeah.
world.
Same with like the TC. It's just like, oh, there's like a ladder back there. I didn't know that. When you go all the way around, like upside down, like you can just see.
Okay, I can't do it. I gotta change it. I can't. Losing my mind here.
Whew, yeah, it'll give you some vertigo.
Well, Askeladd, I'm not going to let that reference to Ender's Game go unnoticed. One of my favorite series of books when I was in middle school.
The enemy gate is down. Hey, I get that reference.
Well, got a little lag here. We'll let that buffer a bit, but we do have a grand winery coming out for Anotand. Berries in the front. We'll see how that shakes things up. But hey, you were right. It is going to be a council hall play.
I am a little surprised it's not a hippodrome, but then again, maybe Anotand's just such a good player, he just doesn't want to do it. But like, I feel like it's really common. I've seen even Valdemar go for hippodrome. I go for hippodrome on this map specifically. I'll go for it because it's just being able to chase and cut down English gold. You can win, especially if you see this council hall coming up. You just know that they're not going to be able to bunker down with that king. You're going to be able to get those horsemen out. You can really raid the wood in the back easily as well against English because it's just outside of the range, right? So there's not a lot of safe wood. I would have preferred the hippodrome, but again, I'm not Anotand. I am not as good a player, so I will, I won't judge, but I will like kind of peer over and wonder.
I mean, yeah, it is hard to argue with a grand winery, though. It's still such
true.
a
It's true.
good
Economically,
landmark.
it is.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it is a really good landmark, and I guess that just shows that Anotand plays with a lot of patience. He's a guy who does not mind, as we've seen, making a labyrinth of walls, slowing the game down. He would really tick off 10-4 Tim, as I mentioned before, but hey, it's a very viable way to play, and it's very effective for a reason. I am curious to see what English does, though, because just because we see this, we do see a barracks as well. Interesting. I'm wondering if we're going to get a feudal all in from English instead, which could be pretty effective into this, honestly. Because he could flip the script, and that gold is in the back for for Anotand, so that's gonna be hard to get to. But again, you can really hold off on the wood.
Yeah, berries right in the front. I mean, you scout the berries in the front, you get the longbow production, like boom, 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 right into feudal. Get the barracks, get the spears for protection, and just start putting pressure on that. And we can see with the rally point, that's exactly what Scatterbrained wants to do here.
Yeah,
Anotand has been playing today very much like play it super safe, never take an engagement that you know you can't like absolutely dominate, and just bide your
Anatand's
time.
definitely happy to let every game go for 30 minutes and just Imperial up until it's beyond overwhelming numbers and go in for the win. Like he's not rushing. This last game we saw proved that he was not in a rush. He'd won that game, I think, probably 15 minutes earlier than it ended, and just didn't mind chilling for the time it took to get there. Now, I don't know if there's a spear yet. Oh, there is one. It's kind of far behind. These horsemen, it's a little precarious. There are the palings, though, which can be pretty effective.
I totally forget about palings.
It's actually a really good tech, especially if you're playing someone who doesn't micro super well with the horses. Obviously, Anatand would not be that. But it can be, if someone's not expecting it, you pop those out and have a couple spears to defend the flanks or behind the archers. It can be really, really good to hold a position. People forget about it a lot. So actually, one of my favorite, that's one of the most frustrating things about longbows is that they're already so effective as a unit with the extra range, with the extra damage, but they also have palings. It's like, goodness, they are the most souped up archer, and no other archers even come close to having the kind of abilities that they do.
I do want to point this out. Because of that pressure on those berries, Anatand really delaying that mercenary house, which is fine, making the right call, investing all of his resources into horsemen, saying, like, I don't need to hire out, I'll fight with my units. I know that my berries are in a real bad spot, but you're English, so yeah, I'll just drop a bunch of horsemen before I can get the oil I need.
Yeah, and that again is kind of my reasoning for why I would have gone Hippodrome, is you could have those horses out for free. I guess the counterpoint being then you don't really get the bonus from the Grand Winery on the berries, but at the same time, cisterns help with that a little bit too. I guess you're just not getting, I guess he's thinking long term though, like the Hippodrome doesn't scale very well, whereas the Winery really does.
And he's looking to drop a tower, protect those berries, losing a Vil, but he will have longbows out. He's got enough oil for it. So we should see
quite a bit of damage from those
longbows.
horses. Yeah, he's lucky he got away with 2. Pretty, so far, things have been pretty even. Even on numbers, the slight edge for Scatterbrained militarily right now, I would say. We do see arrow slits coming in for that outpost. Blacksmith coming down for Scatterbrained. Scatterbrained seems pretty hell-bent on this push, though. Doubling down on units, still making both... was making both archers and spears. I'm curious what the long-term goal here is going to be. We're getting double broadaxe, so I'm guessing Scatterbrained's in it for the feudal game. And I guess the other question is, can Anatand stay in long enough and get to castle, or perhaps overtake him even in feudal age?
Both players doing a good job with the reinforcements here. Scatterbrained waiting to mass up at home before sending him out, knowing that Anatand has the maneuverability to use those horsemen to pick off reinforcements. Now he's coming around, trying to get some damage on the English wood line. Just a couple of spears for defense. You know, besides the short bows.
Well. Yeah, those do quite a bit too. I mean, those are 5 a pop. I mean, they're doing like 1 damage, so each villager doing like 1 damage, probably a pop. Plus the spearman damage. That's enough to repel it. That's another thing that just is infuriating about how good English is at defending, is that's such a powerful ability to be able to shoot like that with those villagers.
Oh, but the horsemen on their retreat gonna get caught out by the English army.
This is a bit of a blunder from Anatand. Good pickup from Scatterbrained, keeping his units together, massing up. This is something that Scatterbrained kind of didn't do as well in the other game, is he kind of had units here, there, everywhere. Need to kind of keep them together and push together. This is working though. Like the right unit to the right spot, able to catch other units of your opponent out and about. Here's another two horsemen here coming in that he's gonna catch if he. Oh, no, he's gonna shy away from that. I was like, he could probably have taken that fight against those 2.
Yeah, Anatand not looking to waste those horsemen there. Wisely retreats, almost takes out the scout. Do you see a ram
he's
coming
gonna need
in?
all the help. He's gonna need all the help he can get, because we're gonna see rams coming in here. And he's like, oh, yep. As I say that, we're gonna have rams coming in here from Scatterbrained, and that's the right call. This kind of pressure is exactly what we want to do.
Well, both armies in position, looking for the Battle of the Berries. The Byzantine Battle of the Berries.
If this tower goes down, I would love to see Scatterbrained putting their own tower in the vicinity, getting that bonus.
Well,
Ooh,
we
got
are
the clown car
carring
coming in. Yep. This is precarious, though.
Spears jump out, looking to take the fight to the horsemen. Able to get a few horsemen, but the army is just overwhelming for Anotand. Scatterbrained gonna lose most of his spears there. Now the longbows are in trouble. And Anotand's reversing it back to a dominant position here.
That was an overextension from the English there. You can't. You got to keep your spears on your longbows. You got to keep them safe because now Anotand's up by quite a bit with his military. That's a lot of horsemen. It takes a lot of spears to deal with that.
Yeah.
Do you have some farms at home for English? Still in the wood, pretty heavy. Still making units, but now I'm starting to get a little nervous.
We're gonna have another.
Like, how do you come back from that? Like, that was a bad fight.
I like the little cheeky play with trying to keep your spears safe in the ram, but they're just too many units.
Yeah,
Spears
and expose the
much.
archers too. You know, expose your longbows by moving the spears away. Like, you really gotta. That's the problem with English is they're slow moving, and they have to because you gotta protect the DPS units. Like, this is not a fight Scatterbrained wants at all. There you go. Use the.
Lure them into the TC as much as possible, but a lot of these units just going to be cleared up here.
Yeah, this is looking rough. Pretty good dive from Anotand.
Horseman numbers are thinning out, though. Although all of these vills on the wood completely exposed at this point. We got more horsemen coming in. And that upgrade with the name that I can't remember, given Anotand gold on those kills with the horsemen.
That was a lot of idle time. That feels pretty rough, and that might be game deciding. I mean, you're down 7 villagers, you're down 10 military. The cisterns are coming up now. So level 2, soon to be level 3 cisterns. He's back onto berries all the way. He's moving out onto berries. Anotand's taking map control. This is not where you want to be as English.
Certainly isn't. No, it's one of those. That's why they call it a feudal all-in, because he basically went all in on that strategy, and that tower just preventing you from denying the berries any further, and just couldn't.
You know what might have helped?
Horsemen.
Mixing in, I mean, they needed twice the number of spears. Probably need a second barracks, right? And maybe even like holding off on that just a bit more, like maybe rounding around the wood line instead. Like the berries were kind of just taken. I'd get around and hit the gold and the wood in the back instead would have been more effective. Maybe even adding in a couple men-at-arms, because right now Anotand doesn't have a really good response to men-at-arms.
Yeah, I don't know. Just with all the horsemen, they still would be feudal men-at-arms. Still do a lot of damage there. 2 more vills picked off. 20 more gold in the bank for Anotand. Another vill, 60 gold. Making his money. And yeah, English army just separated across the map. Byzantines continuing to mass. I don't know what you do at this point. You can see all those vills on gold. Maybe trying to get a
Rush castle
out of panic.
Rush castle, but you're in a really rough spot right now. That literally is actually, you're right. The best thing you can do is just turtle. Try to boom somehow. Problem is that it was never the plan, and you're just gonna get overrun. I think the game's over here. And barring catastrophe from Anotand, which I doubt, knowing how methodical he's been, game's over.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a round.
More villagers going down, up to 8 killed. Spears coming in, trying to chase the horsemen away. They'll find the longbows. And the horses just run right back in. Just
You
looking
can
for
tell
those
Scatterbrained
targets.
doesn't want to call it just yet, but the Vil numbers are looking rough. The military numbers looking rough. It really comes down to that engagement by the tower, right? Like that was all in right there, and then just a decisively bad fight. And now we're seeing all the biz bonuses kicking in gear. Full farm transition with the olive oil. Golden Horn Tower coming in. I imagine once that pops up, Scatterbrain's not going to be very long for this world here in this match. We'll have to go to game number 2. And there it is.
Yep.
And I've been on it on my GG calls lately. Let me just say, I've been pretty on top of that. Oh.
Yeah, it feels like all day within 5-10 seconds of you saying that. You get the GG called. Yeah, just a rough fight for the English under that tower. Lost a lot of units, lost their military advantage at that point, and Byzantine eco just went off and really contained
Unfortunate,
the English
because I think it could have worked. I think that game plan wasn't bad. I think the execution right there, just not knowing that there was that many longbows, and you just needed like way more spears, way more stuff, just not having enough there. I think going into the ram a little early right then, like it was a good idea, but it wasn't enough, and it just kind of clown card and just got immediately like trampled on.
Yeah, it was a valiant attempt. Just didn't work out for him.
Yeah, well, Anatan has proven time and time again, he's an expert at defending this. Like he's more than comfortable just defending, and then flipping the table on you.
Loading up. We are in game. Let's bring it onto the screen. Top of the map in the red. Anotand as Chinese. Bottom side in the yellow. Scatterbrained as Zushi's Legacy. Getting that free IO out of the gate. Putting that right on the lumber camp.
Zushi really is just an easier China in so many ways, right? Free IO right off the bat. Yeah,
free
sure.
IO is pretty
China?
nice.
Like, can I have? No, you can't. Let's see. Are we gonna get the little village opening from Anotand? I think we are on the wood pretty heavily. Like he wants to do that. Oh wait, no, he's not, because he's just going on the dock. I forgot. We're on a water map.
We're on water.
Already taking their dock. Yep.
Anotand a little faster with his dock placement. Already able to start that first fishing ship.
That's to be expected, I think. Anotand still playing very crisp and clean this late into the game. I think the only real mistake we've seen from Anotand was those horses that got picked off by Scatterbrained last game, which ended up not costing him the game or anything, really. But
yeah, not a lot of mistakes for Anotand on the day.
Well, and I've said too, I think I said earlier today, like you don't have to be perfect at this game. You just got to be better. And we've definitely seen Anotand be better in many matchups so far. And again, I don't think anyone's really surprised. I think Anotand probably is a stronger player overall. I'm really kind of like, I don't want to root for Scatterbrained and be impartial, but I'm kind of hoping to see Scatterbrained kind of, put up a good fight here. Maybe take a game, possibly. That'd be really exciting to see.
I'd love to see it go to game 3 today.
Yeah, I would not mind a game 3 today. We'll see though. I'm trying to think of what advantages Zushi will have over China. I mean, the IO to start out is 1. The castle timing for Zushi is really tough to stop, I will say. So if you're looking at the 5 relics, I mean, there'd be no reason Scatterbrained shouldn't be able to get up fast enough and get most of those. I'm curious what, with the water being on here, how that's going to affect the build and what each player is going to want to go for.
Well, we do see that Anotand did have that faster dock, which means he's going to have more fishing ships. Going to take that advantage over the course of the game. Always going to be one up until they stop producing at these 2 ponds here. Taking a look at the scouts. Scatterbrained getting information here. Already scouted the northernmost pond. Didn't see him. Going to find the dock now on the west pond.
Like the calm before the storm, like nothing's happened yet. 3 minutes in, a little slower of a game because they're just kind of both going for docks, both content to chill with their Dark Age starts without going too crazy. It's not like we got a Mongols player or something Dark Age shenanigans. We're just kind of chilling.
Yeah, getting that eco in place for the rest of the game here.
Yep, and eco numbers are pretty much dead even. Anotand's got a slight edge on the dock, as we mentioned. but I would say it's at this point fairly negligible.
Yeah, it's hard to really calculate how much, getting a fishing ship out maybe 7 seconds faster, how much that adds up.
How much
really
that
over
makes
the
a
course
difference.
of the game.
Like a couple seconds. I feel like again, I feel like maybe at the highest level play, maybe we could start scrutinizing that. But even here at this level, I just can't imagine it's that big of a deal. Maybe if it stacks up enough, I'm sure it does. Like obviously it's more optimal, but I mean the difference between 7 food and no food, like there's a certain threshold you have to kind of hit. It's like having like the difference between 390 oil versus like 400 olive oil.
Ooh,
Like,
we got
you
a
have to get
meditation
past that.
gardens right in the middle of the map. Going for
I'm
that
not
with that
surprised by
big
that.
gold vein, the berries, couple of trees in the mix.
That's going to be a pretty good return. Little wolf trying to help out Anatan. Not that he needs the help, but wolf's gonna wolf. He might lose a Vil to this if he doesn't look out. Half dead. Mighty Infantry's trying.
Yeah.
He might lose a Vil to this.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no!
Please no. Okay.
Oh my gosh!
All right.
Oh, that was getting close.
Counter
Down
dock
to 5
on
health.
the
One
way.
more bite away. Imperial Academy. That's expected, I think, for Anatan. Actually, I'm almost a little surprised we're not getting the Barbican to start, but I'm sure we'll see it in a second.
And
I wonder if he'll try and be
Scatterbrained.
aggressive with that Barbican somewhere. Maybe put it in the bottom lake or something. But then again, that's not really Anatan's MO. I feel like he's been playing pretty safe.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be surprised if he
calculated.
did. I'd expect it somewhere more in his area.
Well, counter dock scouted out, but will go up. Archer ship in the queue for Anotand on the east pond. Nothing in response right now for Zhu Shi.
And this is where I'm a little bit worried. That is a pretty aggressive spot to put it. I do like the choice from Anatan to aggress this, making his opponent feel very uneasy. I get the feeling that there's nothing coming into the queue for that. I don't think he's got the gold. He's not on gold at all. Scatterbrained doesn't have the gold to make a ship, so he's just gonna have to just lose this.
Yeah,
Oh,
a lot
that
of
feels like
idle
a critical
time
mistake.
with those Vils running across the map for the meditation gardens.
Yeah. This feels pretty big. Here comes the war junk. Sprinkled ship. That should take care of it. I wonder if we do not have anything in the production queue on the other side. Still, starting off it feels like he who aggresses first sometimes gets a bit of an advantage, right? Just because you're making your opponent a little uneasy. Now we saw that backfire to Scatterbrained last game, but still forcing out the war junk is a pretty big investment. And the idle time.
Yeah, nothing else in this dock right now. We do have Zhugnus coming down the middle, looking to mess with Anatand's gold, but there is an outpost on it, so they're not going to find much damage there.
He's getting
Scatterbrained.
hand cannon slits too, so that's going to be very defended.
Ooh.
And yeah, he doesn't even need the Barbican right now. He can just kind of stick on that. He's going to drop his own archery ranges down. I wonder if he'll go for a Barbican to get the Zuganu out here in a second. Does need to have Song Dynasty, I think, to unlock those.
Mm-hmm. Zushi a little easier. You don't have to change Dynasty to get those unique units.
So the military is definitely in favor of Scatterbrained right now. He's got more units on the field, but the problem is they're not doing much, right? They're kind of just chilling, waiting to do something. Whereas Anatan, if you look at him, doesn't have a lot of military. Is about to get some, but also look at the eco numbers.
Yep.
41, 36, like not a ton, not a huge difference, but that's enough to start feeling creeping differences over the next couple minutes.
Yeah, he's going crazy on that one pawn that he does have. And
Yeah,
Scatterbrained
it's the point where you start wondering, like, I mean, how many ships is too much, though, right? 4, 6, 7, 11. I wouldn't go more than 11 fishing ships. He's going to go 12 and add another one. I feel like that's kind of the maximum you can put on here before you just drain all the fish too fast, right? You want to kind of maximize the output that those can have. So I'd imagine he probably wants to put a dock on the other side soon. But he can't because right now there are troops from Scatterbrained walking around the coast up there in the north corner.
Yeah, he's going to be Dock blocked on the northern pawn.
Say that again.
He's going to be dock blocked. Mass of archers, though, coming out to engage with the Zhugnu and spears. That's going to force Scatterbrained back. He can't take this engagement. You can see losing some units. Trying to mass them together.
This looks tough already. Scatterbrained could probably take a fight head on here. Got enough jugs, but it just keeps walking her. Every time, just like walking inadvertently and then scattering his units. Scatterbrain's done this a couple times. Got to keep this stuff together. Keep them together, and you can push in a little bit.
Yeah, really tricky with the pathing around that wood line.
That said, 47 to 41. Again, not a huge eco lead. Nothing crazy. He managed to destroy the dock on his own pawn, so Scatterbrained secured his own food for a bit. Both of them are on one. I mean, he's really scouting that northern pond. He's really looking to deny the north pond food. But there's quite a couple of archers now. I think at this point, Anotand could probably hold it. 19 to 29, only 10 units more. I don't really think those spears are doing anything for him right now either, because one thing that Anotand's pretty good at is that he kind of really focuses down on the unit he wants to make. I've noticed that Scatterbrain's kind of just making a bit of a variety, bit of a mix. Didn't need the spears quite so early.
Yeah, he might be happy he has those soon, as we do see the switch into horsemen.
Yeah,
and
he definitely will need them, but maybe if he'd have focused on the jukes to start a little more, he could have pushed it a little faster and then added them in. It's like, when do you add them in, right? That's so critical. Sometimes if you don't add them in early, and then your opponent gets the horses out, you'll miss the spears. But if you add them in early, you're just kind of wasting the wood that could have been more Zoogs, that could have done more damage. Kind of a, what is that, like a chicken egg kind of problem, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, it looks like Scatterbrained going all in on Zhugnoogs at this point. That Meditation Garden's actually paying off pretty well for him. He is down in villager counts, but resources per minute, he's hanging in there.
I mean, he's essentially getting almost another 3 villagers out of this landmark. He's getting 48 food a minute, 50 gold a minute, and another 12 wood a minute from the zoo, from the Meditation Garden. So he's getting like basically 3, maybe almost 4 vills, 3.5 vills, somewhere in that range. Maybe 3, I don't know. We'll say 3 vills. But, you know, it's significant. It helps bring things up. So he'd be at 54 to 50. Not to mention he had the early IO as well. That helped boost him a little bit more.
Yeah, for sure. We do see that outpost getting fortified right as the Zhugnus get into its range. They can't attack that gold.
Do you think he goes for a ram again and tries pushing into that? I don't know that I would want to after the experience that was Byzantines into English last time, because this is a very similar matchup, right? Instead, no, he's going to castle up, and he's going to go for the fast castle here. The Sholin Monastery, going for Sholin Monks. That's kind of what I was expecting. This seems to be the go-to landmark of choice for Zushi into castle. He's just going to take the relics, and I think that's a huge decision. That could, if he can get, let's say, 3, maybe 4 of the relics in quickly, that can make a big difference, because he's got the military numbers right now, and it's still producing. So Scatterbrained needs to keep up his numbers of military, but he could, you know, systematically go through and pick up the relics if he wants to.
Yeah. Although while he's doing that, Anotand looking to boom, securing 3 pawns at this point. Taking the north and south one. And looking for a sneaky counter dock on Scatterbrained's pond again.
That is really sneaky.
See if
How did he get that villager through? How did he... What?
From the dock at the bottom. Ran all the way, like, behind Scatterbrained's base.
Oh, man. That little villager must be cousins with the shinobi. Maybe a long-distance relative. Maybe a pen pal from Japan. Mm-hmm. Taking some ninja lessons. But there's a war junk, but it's too late. I imagine Scatterbrained now is going to send all of his stuff to go and destroy that before it can do anything. And Barbican being placed down. Where's that at? Oh, on the other pond. That's an okay spot for it. I don't love it. Secures his wood.
Well, Scatterbrained running right down the middle, looking to just let those Zhugnu bolts destroy the outposts.
That doesn't feel ideal.
Commit to that, yeah.
And they don't have any defense against these horsemen. These guys are sitting ducks. Where's the spears? They're catching up. They're not there yet, though. Scatterbrained again. Units not all in one place. He is castle age. Are these castle zoogs? They are castle zoogs, but gosh, look at that military mass. That's not going to end well. And the first person to make a mango is going to be in a really good spot.
Yeah. Well, Anotand into the Song Dynasty at this point. And those Zhugnus just so far forward. Gonna be chewed up by the archers. Spears try to get in there and provide some sort of a front line. There are a few palace guards as well.
The palace guards are huge. That's a huge choice to go palace guards, actually, because that's something that the archers cannot deal with. I'm having a hard time saying who won that fight, to be honest.
I think it was a decent
on one hand, it
engagement
doesn't look like
from
a lot of
both.
damage happened. I mean, look at the destroyed value. It's pretty even, you know? I think that was a kind of a, we'll say that's a cat's game, right? Just kind of even. That kind of just split down the middle. I do feel that Anotand, I don't know. I'm having a hard time of saying who's really ahead. The Ram's coming out. I don't think this Ram push is going to go anywhere for Scatterbrained. I really don't. Like, what's he going to push with those? I really feel like a mangonel at this point would be better.
Gonna try to bounce him off of that gold. We'll see if that works out.
Good luck. I feel like you need a Treb for that, honestly, at this point, with how much is there. 2 Rams. I mean, that wood could have been spent, I feel like, into either more fishing, more maybe contesting a dock. Because the gold's important and all, but...
That doesn't feel good. Ram's a little undefended.
Yeah. Like, we're taking an engagement, but we don't have the stuff to win it. I feel like Scatterbrain's fighting because he knows he's in castle and his opponent's not. The problem is that this is like the same thing I did against English as a Ubids, is I just try and push down the middle, but you really can't. You really kind of got to go on the wings, take care of the fishing eco, burn the docks down. That would have been a better use of your time, because you just can't win this down the middle right now.
Nah, Ram's gonna pop before it can take out the tower. And military count heavily in Anotand's favor at this point.
Yeah, this feels pretty bad. There's just a ton of archers. That's 33 Zoogs, 41 archers. That's so much DPS. You seriously just need mangoes. Imagine if he had made mangonels instead of the Rams, where he'd be right now.
It would certainly help. Don't see any siege
Nothing
workshops.
for it. Like that, like you got to think like there's no way that he can make spring golds right now. Like I know you want to push right now, but I just don't think you can. I just don't think you want to throw away everything you have and what advantage you have, just kind of crashing into the rocks. You know, like push the docks. You know, push the food. A gold's secure because if he's not on this gold vein, he's just gonna go right by the back gold vein. You know, where the Barbican's at. You're definitely not gonna push into that.
We do have a little push here. A bunch of archers from Anotand coming out, looking to harass the Goldvilles. They're actually going to find a lot of targets. Scatterbrained's army not back here to defend. Anotand going to pick up quite a few vills.
And just like that, I'm starting to think that this game is very close to being over. Obviously, Scatterbrained's not going to quit out just yet, because it's not completely overwhelming yet, but it will be very soon. And I'm really concerned that astronomical clock tower, I'm sure, is going to have something coming out of it relatively soon. Curious as to when that will be.
Oh, look at that. Anotand breaking his units apart, sending 2 archers off to the side to keep the other 6 safe.
Smart. That's such a smart play. Well, he's on 3 docks. He's on 3 pawns. He's got a huge, massive range stuff at home. I mean, this nest of bees and palace guards are pretty formidable.
Those archers stayed alive, and they're going to find more Goldvilles.
He's going to attack under the towers again, though. It's going to be so sad. Like, it's just not worth it. Nest of bees right in there, giving up the fact that he's got nest of bees there. He's gonna take that tower down, but it just doesn't matter, right? Because there's gold in the back. I mean, it's like a red herring at this point. Yeah, Anotand doesn't mind. He's already mined out 3 of the 4,000 gold out of it. I mean, he's gotten what he wanted out of it. And now he's going to leave his siege unprotected. Oh, stay on it. Stay on it. No.
Well, able to take out the Lancers, but the Jugnews coming in to finish that nest of bees off.
Hurts.
Palace Guard's lagging behind a little. Meanwhile, Anotand just still in Scatterbrained's eco. Keeping it messy at home. Those Lancers coming in. No answer really to those Lancers. I mean, Jugnews trying to just poke him down with all those shots. But Scatterbrained losing a lot of military here.
I suppose they don't get mangoes, they just get nest of bees, but he needed a lot more of them a lot earlier. Yeah, and that's going to be it.
There's the
Anotand
GG.
taking the series.
Anotand, 2-0.
Crashing into that gold with the towers was just not the right answer. The Rams, I don't hate the Rams. You just need to go hit one of the docks with it, you know? Contest some water or do something different with it. Or maybe invest in actual, like, siege, like actual nest of bees would have done a lot better there. Because he was castle for a while. If he'd have prioritized the nest of bees along with his ranged mass, and then he can dive in, take care of what Anotand has, and force him to wait for the age up. And then you could take some control. But unfortunately, just didn't get that out nearly fast enough. The one nest of bees that came out was too little too late.